and especially off the back of the off-season roster shuffles, time to gel, how much work teams have put in throughout the break, throughout the period. For a team like Barbie Boys, of course, they had Challenger Series, so they've already kind of had a little bit of that real tournament match experience under their belt, whereas for Enterprise, this core iteration, this will be the first showing on a broadcast level, at a high-end level, so we don't quite know what we're going to get, which makes it even more exciting. Oceania to kick off 2026. It is Enterprise easily coming into this year the best team in the region. Barbie Boys, what have they got to offer? A couple of older heads still trying to kick on as we head to Chalet. It will be their map pick first up.
We jump into the initial ban phase, and a quick overlook for some of the numbers on offer here. Again, take this with a massive grain of salt given the sheer amount of changes, especially from EP, and of course Barbie Boys don't really have the data on offer, but EP with a 2-3 record over the last few months on this particular map. That does encompass some international results as well. Again, expecting them to be fairly competitive. Their attack win rate, though, did drag significantly behind defense, and so there could be a condition to consider at the midpoint of this matchup is how many rounds EP have been able to amount on defense if their attack is to be slightly weaker. Of course, if you haven't watched any of the APL broadcasts as well, quick note that at halftime, there is a new rule that has been introduced for the 2026 season. Both teams will be offered a 2-minute role swap timeout in which they can discuss their tactics when they switch roles, which I think is a nice addition and makes that coach influence probably even matter more for this particular year.
Yeah, I mean, excited for this one. I think Enterprise have got a lot of promise within this roster. It starts off, though, with unfortunately a couple of names that didn't quite get changed in time for the official season. Tuhan actually gave me a heads up a couple of days ago. So we'll do our best to clearly try and label them as to who they are. I mean, worst case, we can just revert back to Aaron and Mikasa. Luckily, it seems like Bappin got his name changed back in time because he also had a name change issue. But Aaron is Tuhan and Mikasa is Jigsaw. So, I mean, just to make it very easy to figure out which of those two is which. Of course, Brendo, Cairo, then rounding out the rest. Bailey, Prez, Killerman, Wettables, and Walsh. Walsh, I mean, I got to do a little bit of the Challenger Series, guys, which was good. Got to see how these guys performed in terms of Barbie Boys. I thought Wettables actually played really, really well. Walsh started very slow in all of the maps that we saw from Barbie Boys and finished really strong. And I kind of said at the time on the broadcast that if he could kind of just put together a full map, it would be a really big body of work. He just started slow, really late to get into things, and then by the end of the game, he finally felt more comfortable. But we know Bailey can certainly pop off. Killerman has probably been a top 3, top 4 fragger in the region at his best as well. So there's a lot of firepower in this Barbie Boy roster. And speaking of the devil, he shall appear. It is Killerman that finds the opening kill onto Tuhan.
Yeah, Killerman does have the potential at his very best to be right up there. I'd say top 5 entry players in the region when he's really in form. Finding that consistency, though, is the storyline for this man in 2026. Tapered off last year with EP, and I'm sure has a grudge on his shoulder, a chip on his shoulder that he's looking to exploit heading into the 26th season. Good start for Barbie Boys, but of course, power control, power position still in place here for EP. Cairo over towards Trophy Stairs. Util dump from Barbie Boys, but he's able to withstand that quite nicely. Pretty low risk. Of course, EP not in a position to risk take here with a player down.
9 seconds remaining in the round. Barbie Boys, good start here on the attack. They still need to get themselves really kind of into the building. Not a single player except for Wettables, who's looking over towards Garage in the basement. Cairo just holding top of Trophy Stairs. 2 outside on the rappel window. It is Killerman that finds a second. Great entry from Bailey as well. Swing that shield around, block off Trophy Stairs. Doesn't give the side angle to Cairo. He can't find it. Goes for the guard break. No real help coming from the player on the rappel, which is Killer. And he goes down as well. And so suddenly, 2 quick kills back for Enterprise. 3v3. And then Brendo shuts down Wettables. Suddenly, Enterprise has flipped around. Cairo gets rid of Walsh, and after a strong start on the attack from Barbie Boys, they find themselves now in a very unlikely position.
Yeah, just a little unfortunate there for Barbie Boys getting stalled out there over towards the trophy stage hit. They were drained of util. They couldn't really flush out Cairo outside of the Blackbeard, who didn't really get probably enough support. It was such an awkward position. Bailey was just trying to posture, but instead got caught. Good guard break, and with that, Enterprise able to flip the round. And again, this is probably going to be the storyline for this matchup, is Barbie Boys will have few opportunities to win out rounds and to have advantageous positions, and they need to convert. And that's difficult for a team like this that doesn't quite have the same level of experience and potentially skill, at least on paper. But still some early promising signs for them. And, Prez 1v2, 10 seconds, wouldn't rule it out completely. Difficult cross, though, to break here as he pushes through over towards Piano. Shield still standing, and Cairo swings. Cairo looking sharp, and that's a danger sign for Barbie Boys.
Yeah, Cairo dies there. President has a chance. He could have easily tucked back in a decent effort. And look, a decent round to start. Barbie Boys will be disappointed they couldn't go all the way in that round after getting the opening 2 kills. Good fight back though from Enterprise. Didn't panic, held good positions. They knew full well that, they lost a couple of players from these window positions outside the map, etc. But Barbie Boys hadn't actually taken any ground, any map control, hadn't got into good spaces. Cairo did really well. Trophy stairs against the Blackbeard, didn't panic, was able to put the pressure back on to Bailey. Cairo big in that round. He gets 3 kills, and he's going to be the one that I think individually for Cairo, will he take the biggest of backsteps, like in terms of ego? Because Cairo's played on many teams before, guys, over the last couple of years where he's either been the man or the guy or at least the second fiddle. And now he's joined an absolute powerhouse roster. He's just going to be like, boys, tell me what you want me to do, and I'll go and do it. And I think that kind of role will fit him nicely.
Yeah, totally agree. I think, again, it's more so going to be a case for this team is when things become volatile, if they maybe have a match where they're not playing at 100%, do we see them clash, or do we actually see them problem solve together and work that through? I think that's why it's probably really good to have the likes of Brendo on the team to probably be the one that can be a little bit more of a leadership figure. So yeah, excited to see that play out. And again, that's not really specific too much to this particular matchup, but we're talking about maybe like a grand final, for example, if they lose the first map, if they start to meet a bit of resistance. How deep can they dip into that tank? As we head into round number 2, of course, audio has now returned, so apologies for the opening round. Lock positions already being established here by the attack of Barbie Boys. Equally, though, from the defense, we have Bappin over towards basement. It's a triple stack top floor from EP with catch in play and the clash on Cairo. So in some ways, it's a pretty traditional hold here from Chalet. A little bit of flair, though, just to try and keep Barbie Boys on their toes.
I'll say back on Challenger Series, by the way, we see the Solid Stake has been banned. Got to see a little bit of play. And at times can be very impactful. Just taking space on Solid Snake is very, very strong. But I hate the logo. Absolutely despise the logo. It just doesn't fit. It looks so out of place. But I imagine we're going to be seeing quite a bit more of the old Snake throughout kickoff.
Yeah.
Cairo on the clash this round. So after dealing with the Blackbeard shield, now grabs his own shield for the second. Bar Games, 90 seconds left into the round. Barbie Boys taking their time, pushing actually over from across. Bailey, who was coming in from office, is going to lose his life in the top library battle. Weddable's outside. Trying to see if you can find an angle, but there's no push-up from Enterprise because they don't need to. Kara's just sitting back top library stairs with the clash. Jigsaw playing well inside of library. He's low on health, knows he can't overpeak. So far, so good from the defense.
Yeah, this hold a little bit more dynamic from EP with the clash in play. Kara can place that shield down as opposed to it being a static deployable. It means they have an additional gun in play, and it's making this grind forward for Barbie Boys very difficult. Unable to deploy the utility required to dislodge these positions, and unfortunately now they're isolated. With Walsh and Bailey down, it takes a big effort here from Killerman, and he's able to find the shot over towards library. Second lands as well. Jigsaw caught out over towards box, but Killerman low. And so now the torch is handed over towards Wettables to try and have impact in this round.
Another close one to begin. Killerman with 4 kills inside of the opening 2 rounds. The concern for me, though, is still Cairo. How do you go and deal with him? Got a smoke available for Wettables. As the time starts to dwindle, though, and he does push down library, it's Cairo, gun up, SMG in hand, finds the kill. And Killerman now in the 1v3. Jigsaw calling Killerman the beta of the team. To be fair, he's got 4 kills, and he got them, well, the 2 kills in this round at a crucial moment. Bappin to finish it off. Enterprise with the opening 2 rounds. BARBIE boys are making them work for it, but so far Enterprise looking pretty strong defensively, especially towards the end of these rounds. Falling back, making sure they're not in bad positions. At no point giving BARBIE boys an opportunity to get plant down or anything like that. So they're really playing the map nicely in the opening 2 rounds for Enterprise.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I totally agree. I think I would probably describe their brand of Siege that they've played, at least in the opening 2 rounds, to be quite respectful. They're not taking rounds for granted. They're ensuring that they consolidate late round, peel back towards the objective, not feed ones, not try and ego their opponents. I think that's a really positive sign for, again, a format that is incredibly unforgiving. You cannot be throwing away chances because they can potentially compound, and then before you know it, you're in a lower bracket fighting for your life to make a major, which is certainly in stark contrast to a lot of the formats that we have had previously, such as the nature of Kickoff. And so, yeah, at least, again, the opening couple of rounds, I think their mindset and their approach has been really nice. They're making BARBIE boys work for the map clear, and even though EP were able to disrupt that and the util layering never really came through, they didn't overplay their hand. They were happy to peel back towards the objective, and then even when a bit of momentum was built by the likes of Killerman, they still had strong site control.
Well, these are going to be the questions now asked for BARBIE boys. Like, I mean, they're getting opening kills. They're getting decent starts and looks to these rounds. Just the inability to kind of win the middle portion of the round, get into a better position for the late round, and get into an execute position, you know, in the last 30, 40 seconds of the round. That's got to be the concern early on. Again, though, in terms of the significance, you want to win every single game you can in Kickoff. It is double elimination, best of 3. And so it's not as if for BARBIE boys all hope rides on this match or anything along those lines. It's a good test early on. I mean, if you're BARBIE boys, you probably want to play Enterprise straight up. Get as much experience against the top team in the region. Maybe you can even catch them off guard early. It's their first official as this Core 5. Killerman gets taken down a half health. Little battle with Jigsaw, who's got 3 kills early on. And Bappin just tucked in towards games. 3 players outside the window. And he gets caught on an angle. Nicely done from Bailey. That's over towards Fireplace Stairs. Back through Backstore. Nice little angle created by the ace. Gets the kill. Again, BARBIE boys starting nice in these rounds early on. They do lose Killerman, and he's been their best fragger.
Yeah, I don't think EP will be too discontent. Bappin's already been able to deploy that Denari Tripwire utility, and Killerman, of course, now cannot call in the remainder of the round, which could make this map clear a little bit more challenging. Ground though still being taken over towards Library, so a good spearhead here from Wedables. He's looking for lobby control, can transition that then to the office wall and potentially down below in towards site itself. In the meantime, AP begin their peel back. Deployable shield position here from Jigsaw over towards Piano. This is a strong spot. B's still available though for the attack, and grenades in the hands of Walsh as well.
Bailey's got 2 flashes. Those magnets out from Jigsaw. 50 seconds. This is at least a better position for BARBIE boys. 4v4 heading into the final minute. It's this next gunfight that over the first 2 rounds they've not been able to win. And then they lose a couple of players, and from there the ability to execute. Oh, there's null and void. And Wedable's going to turn his attention. They might opt to go direct. Not a lot of time remaining in the round, so the ability to pivot and go for something different, not really there. Straight into dining from the breach. Will there be any denial from above? Duhan has been able to spot that the plant's going down behind the bomb chassis, and from above, indeed, Jigsaw finds the kill onto Edibles. That's Kit on the ground, but it's a 3v2 until Duhan hits the headshot onto Walsh. Prez going for the plant. Impact thrown. Bailey good headshot, though, onto Duhan. 1v1 against Brendo for Bailey. Picks up the kit. He has to now stick it, but there's no time. Easy for Brendo to just walk up, find this kill. 3-0 to Enterprise.
Yeah, really good work there from Brendo. Just discipline not to give that opportunity and let it slip away. Smartly played in the 1v1. BARBIE boys trying to go for the shortcut attack. They ignore the clear above. EP, though, able to relay information off the back of the Solace to Jigsaw up above, who was able to deny. The trade game, of course, followed, and that was a constant theme from the beginning of the round. A 2v2 with 10 seconds on the clock, but the plant denial just continued to land here for EP, the impact grenade prior to that 1v1 from Brendo. And so EP just having the edge at the moment. It's not a dominant first 3 rounds, to be fair, but clearly looking like the stronger team, at least in the early phase of this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, 2 alive, 3 alive, 1 alive. So, right, in terms of the dominance, it's not really like we're seeing Enterprise getting, you know, flawless rounds or 4 players alive. Kill a man with an opening kill in the first round, and trades as well. Then in the next rounds, I know for a fact in that last round there was a trade on our tracker. It says there wasn't, but we saw it. At least for Barbie boys, they had a chance to get the kid down. So it's almost like they're getting slightly better, really, as the game's going on. You know, the first round's like, okay, opening kill, 2-player advantage, but then just capitulate. Couldn't even get close to site. Then started to, again, get into that middle of the round trade game, but didn't quite fall their way. And then in the third round, started to win that. It was a 3v2. Got into a plant position opportunity. But a good denial, good use of the Solace, getting the information. That was from Tuhan. And then the follow-up as well from Jigsaw. Yeah, just already kind of showcasing the teamwork capabilities for this Enterprise roster. Barbie boys, we itching to get on the board. It is their map pick. But it is a map that these Enterprise players know very, very well. And so far, a good start for pretty much everyone on the board. I mean, for Enterprise, 3 to Brendo, 4 to Cairo. Tuhan and Jigsaw, we just have a very big round for both of those in the way that they started off. Bappin 2-2. And that was always probably, I think, the one mark on the old Enterprise roster, Gus, was there was too many games where 2 or 3 players went missing and then the other 2 or 3 stood up, and then they would just take turns. Need to find the consistency as a core 5.
I still get the impression that the benchmark here for Barbie boys is 2 to remain competitive at the halfway point, and so that's definitely still in the realm of possibility if they can grind out these rounds. It's another strong start with the frag grenade kill onto Cairo, and this trophy stairs hold posed big problems last time out, and Bailey wasn't able to extract as much value from the Blackbeard as he would have liked. So now with that position relieved and now Tuhan the one to try and step up, Barbie boys find themselves in quite a strong position for the 4th round.
See Tuhan going for the little one-tap head peek. It's just opting to fall back. Does give up this solar space now to Barbie boys. Spots the gun barrel outside window. Well, also, you got to be careful. You already had a couple of shots poked your way, and then overexposes himself, and then with the drop, Tuhan now can get aggressive and try and push him behind them. As they've taken this solar space, Tuhan's aware of this, and will now go hunting from Trophy, and puts Bailey in a very awkward position. And Tuhan then caught out Prez. I believe that was West Main. Bappin gets rid of Weddables. Bailey in the 1v2. Winnable on the Blackbeard. Tuhan and Bappin, though, can play together. And again, it's like what you were saying before. And none of these rounds have been ultra one-sided. They've been close. The Barbie boys are always finding themselves in this position. Bailey, can he force the 1v1? Has the yellow ping information. Can't get rid of Tuhan in the corner. He had the cover for help if necessary. Wasn't needed. 4-0 to Enterprise.
Yeah, and it's another really clear example of, even despite being at the disadvantage, EP have the ability and the confidence and the skill to back it up to go for aggressive mid to late round adaptations to find either a pick back, or in most cases then transition that into an advantage of their own. There was a good example there from Tuhan over towards Bedroom, was able to aggress, but then able to peel back, find safety, and then the rest of the team took some of the space that was afforded off the back of that. So yeah, another really positive sign there from EP. Of course, they probably want to clean things up a little bit, especially pointed towards the early round where maybe they're feeling they're giving away these picks and at a bit of space and maybe a little bit too freely on some occasions, but I think they'll take pretty good solace from the fact that they're winning these rounds back from disadvantageous positions in such a confident fashion. And it's got to start at this point getting a little bit frustrating for Barbie boys. There's still a couple of opportunities in the remainder of this half to keep it competitive. I still envision a 2-4-1 being possible if they can connect the dots late round, and then from there maybe being able to build a platform on defense.
Back-to-back 3Ks, by the way, for Bailey. Gets him up to 6 and 4. It means, though, 12 kills overall for Barbie Boys in 4 rounds. 10 of those, Bailey and Killerman. And again, this is where, for someone like Walsh, debut, rookie season, but not exactly a young player. I think he's early 20s. Well, Brendo just gets tagged up. Wasn't quite sure where that damage was coming from. We'll just go for the drop back into bar stock. I think Walsh will be the kind of player that, with time, more games under his belt in the top, the top matches in this region, he'll start to be more comfortable and kind of grow into it a little bit. That's kind of what happened in Challenger Series. But I think when you kind of look at the roster makeup for Barbie Boys, there is emphasis on him to be a fragger on this roster. You know, Wedables is, well, I think, the oldest player in the region at the moment. That's what he keeps saying. I'll take his word for it. He's 26 this year.
Nah, surely Nico's older, right? Nico returning, I would imagine. Could be wrong. Oh, Bappen's looking sharp this afternoon. This is the Bappen we love to watch. 4-2 so far. Killerman on the ground after finding that open kill in round number 1. He's been a little bit more quiet post that, especially through the early portion. Midpoint of the round now elapsed, an EP in a commanding position. Barbie Boys may look again to go for this shortcut attack.
Haru shield screen up from Bailey, but no real entry. Tuhan waiting and watching. Wedables going to go for the lurk over towards Mud. 60 seconds. And you do have Brendo, who is low, but it is Tuhan again who gets active, held his position at that game's window. Wedables falls, can't get out of Mud Room. This might be the most dominant round of the half so far, which is bad news for Barbie Boys. They've been competitive at times. 5v2 now for Prez and Walsh. It just spells bad news. Walsh trying to force something. There's a chance. Brendo's sharper, cleaner, far more experienced. Hits the headshot. We might be on for the first flawless. Indeed we are. 5-0 to Enterprise.
Well, they continue to roll forward this momentum. As you mentioned, it's 5 straight. And a match that on a round-to-round basis has looked fairly competitive, and I stand by that assessment. Unfortunately, when you do look at the scoreline at the top, it's EP that have been consistently the better team so far. And even if they are to have some teething issues on attack, as we've seen historically, this lead is now surpassing what that may look like. So very much their map to lose well and truly at this point in time. Barbie Boys will just be trying to build some semblance of confidence and momentum, at least try and get a couple of rounds before the series continues forward onto Bank. Maybe they'll find some more fortune there, but again, when you consider how the veto's kind of played out, the players from EP have typically actually come from very strong Bank teams as well. It's very tricky to envision Barbie Boys having greater success on map 2.
I did go and have a clarification. Nico has got Wedables beat by a couple of months. They are both
whoa, there you go.
2000s. They're both in the same year, but Nico has got him beaten by a couple of months. So Wedables is the second oldest in the region of the player birthdays that we're aware of that are public.
There could be a dark horse in there somewhere.
5-0 though. I mean, again, it's hard to really have the expectations coming into this match. If this were like a, later in the season and we're already kind of known maybe how dominant Enterprise we're going to be, you could not be as surprised, but it's day one. It's still a new roster. This is a perfect time to kind of try and get a team like Enterprise where maybe the comms aren't as cleanest, maybe the strategies aren't as quite well practiced. Well, Barbie Boys have been competitive at times. The 5-0 scoreline is very much true to reality. That's a lovely angle from Killerman. It started very hot after the first 2 rounds. Trade immediately from Bappen and the follow-up on the Walsh. Bappen goes to 7 kills. He's in some fine form in his career over the last 12 months and continues nicely to kickstart the kickoffs. Despite the opening pick for Barbie Boys, it's traded back. Enterprise have got the numbers advantage.
Prez does fight back though, so a 3-3 midpoint of the round, but Wedables falls. It's a 0-6 half for Wedables And Prez's position is well and truly known. Bailey will need to try and link up and help out, but he's too late. Caro nets that kill. Bailey caught as well. Well, I thought was caught, but Brendo falls, but now 1 HP. About to hit the grave, and EP about to equalize, about to win out this half 6-0. Wow, that's impressive.
0-6 for Edibles, 0-6 for the game. Good half, says Bappen. It's time for a bit of a vibe check here to see how things are going. We already know that from the vibes of Enterprise, things are great. For Barbie Boys, maybe not so great.
On the cusp, not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, move G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword, swinging blades at these scrubs. Flock like bugs to the light, getting right. Treat my hoes like these raps. I don't really got a type. Off top bullshit. All I needed was a mic. Yeah. Hey, pass the rock, it's all butter. Pack your bags and take flight. Don't worry, it's all covered. Hey, live your life while you can. Our days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after, clearing up the disaster.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody day's a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Yeah.
I got some places I should take you to see. You know it's easy when you ride with a G. Light speed, moving fast through the city, trying to find me some peace. I finally lived to be the guy that I was dying to be. Still I got some trust issues, people lie through their teeth. The more I grew, the more they hide in the crease. Squad building, weak members get released. If we trying to compete, starting pitchers need relief. Bro, we building a team, everybody got a niche. I've been known to play mine to a T, but it's time for me to lead. Picking dirt right out the cleats. Steep path, roadblocks in the streets, trying to knock me off my feet, cause the devil never sleeps. So I don't sleep too, and trying to breach safes that I didn't have the keys to. We all been victims of trauma we ain't agreed to.
Well, Enterprise passing the vibe check. Edibles, he was jamming out to the song. Synced up very nicely. But good vision, though, guys, to be able to see. Clearly, Edibles, experienced player on the team, just kind of saying to the guys whatever needs to be said. I don't know what he was saying, because like they're probably not going to win this map. This map looks cooked. You ain't going to win 6 straight against Enterprise. But it might be more about, hey, it's a best of 3. We got to start performing better. If we win 2 or 3 rounds straight here, try and at least build for a bit of form going into the next map, which is going to be Bank. The benefit of a best of 3, these aren't the best of ones where it's like, okay, well, our day's done already. That took about 20 minutes. But, you got to look at this as a marathon, not the sprint, and that kind of mentality. And I imagine those are kind of some of the things that he would have been talking about and touching on, and just saying these are things we could have done better, whether it's comms, whether it's our entries, late game scenarios, all of those things. Fundamentally, I think for Barbie Boys, it's a 6-0 scoreline, and it deserves to be 6-0. But it's not as if it's 6 straight rounds of flawless nature. They had a couple of rounds where a couple of little things go their way, or they played this a little bit better, or this is, done and executed better. Yeah, maybe they could have stolen 2 rounds, and that would have been all that they probably needed. So they're not that far off it. It's a funny old game, Siege, where it's 6-0, but it's like you just take 2 of those rounds that maybe you could have won, and it's a pretty good scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if there are a couple of occasions where they contained mid to late round aggression or whatever it was, from the likes of Babin or Tuhan, for example, scoreline looks 2-4, and then they're actually in a position now where we'd be praising them and potentially pitching them as being able to be a chance on the map. So yeah, it's a particularly unforgiving game at times, Siege. And especially in Kickoff, for instance, which is an increasingly unforgiving format as well. As much as you do want to try and frame this as a learning experience, you only get 2 chances. You lose this, you're down in the lower bracket. You can't be treating the rest of your run as a learning experience. It's a do or die experience to make the major. And so maybe with that heading into the year, teams are having to temper expectations probably a little bit, and seeing EP as maybe a longer term target for stage 1 and stage 2 potentially. Although you don't really want to go in with a defeatist attitude, right? You want to go in Maybe not with the expectation that you can win, but with the belief that it is possible if you play at your best. We haven't seen the best from Barbie Boys, but I do agree they're probably not massively far off where they could potentially reach this year. As we prepare for round number 7, roles are swapped, Barbie Boys to bedroom for their opening defensive effort.
And again, I was just saying, I think for Barbie Boys, the mentality always has to be, learn from kind of what happened there in that first half. Can you get a couple of rounds here before you likely get overwhelmed in at least one of the rounds? You don't want to get 7-0'd. One round at a time mentality is so important in Siege. Bappen getting to work from below and dining on the Deimos, which didn't really see a lot from in the first half. Bappen finds the opener kill onto Walsh. Good trade by Killerman. 1-7 for Walsh. It's kind of what I was talking a little bit before about Guz. In Challenger Series, he would have frequently that kind of 1-5 scoreline. Then in the second half, the games were closer, but he would then kind of bring it back and finish around like sort of 8-8. Yep, going to get that opportunity against Enterprise, though. Minute left, 4v4. Cairo on the Monty. Pushing deep through Piano. They lose the smoke. Killerman down. Pistol out from Cairo. Good time. He knew the shots were going over the shoulder to his teammate. And then indeed, this is done. 7-0. That took 23 minutes. Enterprise take the opening map here on Chalet.
They've come out windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kick goes cold, that will be devastating. The grenade goes through, that's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs.
Cyber, wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off him. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Oh! Got another one for Solotov. Information from the Bees. He goes in. Shotgun. W7s! They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stem pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant! That's play of the year in my book.
Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the impact.
He gets it!
There's the dash! He doesn't have the concentration! He's going back, he's not quite sure. He
Neski gotta
has
go.
a few seconds. Stick it, Ness! Stick it!
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ella. He spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC, Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necrox, the final defender against Vertical, the ace, absolute domination.
You believe in magic, Michael. Team 1 does as they win the Mexico Major.
So a 7-0 beatdown. Enterprise far too good for Barbie Boys to kickstart things here for APL OCE kickoffs. Very dominant. I don't think we were expecting 7-0, guys. Certainly a win for Enterprise was always likely on the cards, but dominated really thoroughly. The first half, there were certainly a couple of rounds for BARBIE boys that a little bit cleaner, or maybe Enterprise were off their game a bit. They could have maybe stolen a couple of rounds, but ultimately a well-deserved 7-0 for Enterprise and a really good way for this roster iteration to kick things off.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, don't want to dampen the success of Enterprise at all. It was a very, very well-controlled map, number one. The scoreline, to a limited effect, was a little bit obscured. The 7-0 probably not fully reflective of BARBIE boys having glimpses of competitiveness, but unfortunately not all 5 players able to connect inside of the server, and critically, BARBIE boys unable to contain some of the big hitters on the side of EP. As we get ready for Bank, will we see much of the same? Potentially. Could it even be worse for BARBIE boys? Well, based on paper, probably. So it doesn't paint a very positive picture for them. But Siege is a funny game, and we'll have to wait and see how it does in fact play out.
We've seen 7-0s a lot over the years, especially in the APAC region, Guz. In the best of 3 formats, though, how often do you see 14-0s? I think very, very rarely. In fact, I don't actually know if I've ever been a part of one. Like it's almost non-existent. They're extraordinarily rare. I don't think it will happen, but I can't see how BARBIE boys win the map based on what we just saw. But what we do need to see is a response. Like they've got to be far more competitive in terms of just getting rounds on the board. Again, like mid-round action. Like if you look at the 7 rounds played, they 3-4 split on opening kills. That's, you know, as close as 50% as you can get on an odd number. So it's not like they were uncompetitive early. Bailey got 2 3Ks. Kyra and Tuhan got a 3K each. So they kind of split the numbers there in terms of multi-kills. Brendo got 1 clutch, 1v2, but it wasn't really a 1v2. Plant was going down 2-3 seconds left. Easy swing, easy kill. I think the concern for me was that there were a couple of rounds where BARBIE boys had like a 5-on-3 or a 4-on-3 or a 3-on-2. And just couldn't capitalize on those rounds. Those were the rounds that you had to win. And you might have lost the game 7-3 or 7-2. Would have been far more respectable. Enterprise are a great team, obviously. But yeah, disappointing that they couldn't actually get those kind of rounds. The good news, though, for Enterprise from their perspective is they were able to win in many different ways. They got a flawless round. They were able to deny Plant many, many times in the first half. I think Plant almost went down only once, which was the Brendo 1v2 clutch. They were able to win from losing positions, 5v3, 3v2s, etc. So they kind of had the whole package. So really, really good opening map for this Enterprise roster. And if you want to add on even more greatness, it's the fact that all 5 players were incredible. They all went positive. They all were able to frag out in a pretty even nature. I mean, you look at Jigsaw's history as a player. It was always 20 bomb or nothing. He only dropped 7 kills because you had Bappin with 8 and you had Tuhan with 9. So he's got firepower around him. Really strong opening start for Enterprise.
Bans play out. Kaid, Mira, Ying, and Monty. So Snake available, and Bailey will immediately pounce on him for the opening attack for BARBIE boys. We've seen Snake played on a couple of occasions through APL so far, and his ability to solo clear maps, to gain information, really, really strong. And on a map as large and vast as Bank, I expect him to get some nice value from that particular operator.
This site, though, guys, like, is it needed, really? Like, I
guess maybe if you anticipate a full top floor down peel from EP, it could be a little bit more effective. But in a more traditional open fall off kind of like
droning can just do most of that anyway, though, right? Like I think droning, if Enterprise are throwing any curveballs out, you're just going to be able to find it naturally. So you think about what Solid Snake is really good at with his radar is are spaces open? Are there players around the area? And can you get that information? So we actually just saw the ping coming out of Electrical onto Brendo playing Blue Stairs. And it's like, well, it's Bank Basement. Yeah. Of course the Smoke's going to be playing Blue Stairs. You kind of know that already. So now from a utility perspective, yeah, this phase now, what do you get from it? Nothing.
Yeah, because everyone's peeled back towards basement, and you know that at this point, if the opposition finds a kill 99 times out of 100, the defense all peels back to site. So now Bailey essentially has no impact. He's already used his frag grenades. In terms of loadout, he's strong, but yeah, raw utility now. BARBIE boys at a significant deficit with a minute on the clock.
There's so much miles still available for Enterprise. You still got 3 Goku canisters for Jigsaw, Shamika launcher, pretty stocked up for Cairo, 3 gas bays for Brendo. Even just from a conventional sense, this technically shouldn't be a winnable round now for Barbie Boys from the conventional side of push through server, get plant down CCTV. That's just impossible now, barring someone doing something crazy on an elevator drop push or a vault drop push, for example. So they seem stalled out because they are stalled out. There's not a lot they can do. Wettables going to have to be the one that, if anyone's to break this round open, it's Wettables. You know, throw out the smoke, play off the glass. Can he find a pick or two? You can see how desperately he's trying to push forward, take a bit of space. Pushed back by the Shamika launcher. 15 seconds left. Still a gas babe in hand for Brendo. Still got Zodo canisters. They've just completely ran out of time. They're just flamed out. They can't even walk through. The time may actually... Like, at this point, it's run into the gas and the flames and die, which is what we're about to see, and we are seeing, or just sit in server and the time runs out anyway. That is an absolutely strong defense from Enterprise. Prez doesn't even get the plant down. It's flawless. A really, really strong defensive showing on basement bank from Enterprise. Question mark so for Barbie Boys.
Yeah, that's probably where we're seeing the weakness of Barbie Boys at the moment being exploited. Is sure, their position looked really rough, but I think with a minute to go, more experienced teams with a little bit more depth and synergy probably would have found a way to make that round a little bit more competitive, probably be pivoting into the likes of a red drop, maybe sending a lurk over towards Garage, maybe having an elevator drop, for instance, getting the glass activated a little bit earlier. Instead, we kind of just saw the snowball compact stack over towards server. The Sensu tool was late, not deployed from the hatch. They made that round look even worse than on paper it probably could have been. Don't get it twisted, it was basically an EP round to lose in the latter half of that round, but Barbie Boys unfortunately didn't really help themselves with some of their decision making in the late round, and EP, who so far today have looked very, very sharp, are obviously not going to throw those particular scenarios.
I think if you want to try and find a way to give Barbie Boys an out, they lost Killerman early, you know, playing the Deimos. He's certainly going to be that kind of player that would have been able to either push main stairs, go for an elevator drop, vault, something, you know, offer some kind of point of difference. When you lose that, it probably makes it hard to play that pivot angle and do something differently, but you kind of had to do something differently. Just left themselves very little time. We head top floor, CEO Executive for the second round. Judging by this lineup, you would imagine top square focus for the Thermite. Don't have a lot of flush utility. In fact, I don't know how I just realized they brought 3 hard breaches for this. I mean, understandably, I guess you kind of can bring the 2 when you bring Thermite for top square, and you can try and open up Kanto with one of the Ace or the Habana, but they've gone with 3. And again, with this, and Perez is there for the setup for the late round with the Sensara use. Wettables finds a kill onto Brendo. That's nice, but again, still lacking a lot of that utility to flush out a position like Janitor, even Stock. I think they win this round simply if they can just straight up win some gunfights the way that we just saw. Wettables getting rid of Brendo. You saw Kara took some damage. Jigsaw gets rid of Prez.
Yeah, that hurts. Well, losing the Sensu tool now makes it quite challenging.
Enterprise just have to play this compact and structurally. Or you can just run around on site and just kill everyone. Yeah. 2v4.
Minute 20. Killer on the ground. So Wettables and Bailey, the last 2 up with 4 to find. I think the Warden of Tuhan was pinned over towards Jan, and that may still be the case with the hard breach that was deployed, but acting upon that now is very difficult. Res attempt here from Wettables will be a success. Maybe this will initiate a push over towards lobby. But again, another very, very challenging position that Barbie Boys find themselves in. Cairo is sitting and waiting. There's yellow pings over towards ATM, and he has Goya utility as well to play off of. It's just almost impossible to envision a situation from here where EP do not win this round.
Yeah, I mean, the round's done. No, at least it should be. Well, Thorn's going to push Wettables out into the open. Uncomfortable position. Good placement of the Razor Bloom by Bappen. Kara and Tuhan able to combine in what was around they always looked very comfortable in. I think, honestly, from the get-go, just not really tested. Wettables found the opening kill of the round, so then it becomes a 5v4. And what that does is, if you want to look at the operator lineup that Barbie Boys brought into that round, triple hard breach with the Sens and the Lion, and again, lacking a lot of utility, not bringing like a Capital for Janitor, etc. But it's still a 5v4 at that point. The round's suddenly far more likely. They just lose too many players, though, to these open angles created on site by Enterprise. They've played it beautifully. Jigsaw had a very good round. Kari starts strong again for the second map straight. And the concerns that we saw on the opening map of Chalet have followed on to Bank. 2-0 start on the defense for Enterprise. We go to staff and open area for the third round.
Mozzie Castle combination here for AP, and so they'll commit a large portion of utility up on the top floor. That's in defense of the vert that will be attempted here from Barbie Boys. They themselves bringing the ram that will help for the clear across from Archive side to try and box this defense in towards open area. But AP very active on that front, playing one of the more aggressive branches of defense that is default on this particular site. I'll definitely be sensing that the blood is well and truly in the water, and they have Barbie Boys' number, especially in the confidence department at the moment. Oh, jump out attempt. Okay, that was maybe a little bit too much from Tuhan. Gives a freebie across to Barbie Boys. We'll see now if they can actually convert.
Almost got the kill, though.
That too has been a problem. Almost, yeah. Oh, there you go, finish off. Okay, well that takes away the ram, and with that, the vert potential.
You do lose the Wamai, but it's not a big deal. Just looking very active so far in Bank, though. Enterprise are playing this really nicely.
I'm reloading.
Kellerman's lost his camera, it seems. And Logic Bomb is going to ring out from the Dockerbeat. Yeah, just very flat-footed at the moment, though, from Barbie Boys. Not eager to take space and take these fights. And Killerman caught over towards Lobby. He's down. Not out just yet. Likely to be finished off. Edibles trying to find an angle here over towards top square. Now pushing Janitor Hallway. Brendo's going to actually find a kill onto Prez, and that's still with Killerman on the floor. Contact between Brendo and Walsh. Walsh will go down to Bap, and they've just got numbers everywhere. Edibles will get the trade. Should be aware of Brendo towards front desk. He's hunting. He is also by himself, and again, another situation where Barbie Boys are at a significant disadvantage.
Yeah, Wettables has found a little bit more form here on map 2. Didn't net a single kill back on Chalet, 0-7 scoreline. Unfortunately, though, unable to amount much of a clutch attempt there in round number 3. And so that's now double-digit rounds in a row for EP.
Love that reposition. That's a really smart reposition from Brendo. Knows Wettables is kind of shooting over towards top square in towards top floor and takes that opportunity to move away from what was a known position, goes top main. He can then take contact. Even if he doesn't find the kill, he can then slip down main stairs. Just those little things for such a quality player. 3 rounds in the books, 3 straight for Enterprise. So technically 10 straight rounds. Is Dockerbeat Goyo going to be banned out? Back to basement. Hard to find the positives right now for Barbie Boys. If I was to find one positive, it's actually not about them. It's about they're playing the best team in the region. That in itself, though, is a concern when you consider the Oceanic region is not exactly going to get a lot of slots, right? So you got to knock these guys off. If you want to be making majors and making international events, you're going to have to get through Enterprise. They are the benchmark. But it's not as if you can't give yourself another opportunity. And your goal will always be just get to the grand final and then who knows on the day. But it does also mean for Barbie Boys, trip down to the lower bracket is all but a certainty. So they will have to run the lower bracket.
10 seconds left before insertion.
They're just not winning gunfights, not able to get good position around the map. losing too many players too early into the rounds as well. So far, you kind of look at the time at opening kill, minute 40, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, so it's kind of picking up. And even on a basement side like this, you can see Jigsaw top floor looking for an early kill. And it creates a lot of freedom for a player like Jigsaw, I think, on that Chiefs roster, and certainly within his career in this region. At times, it's almost felt like he probably has to be the one to go and do everything. He doesn't have to do everything anymore. It also gives him the freedom to actually play a little bit more aggressively, which is kind of funny to say for a player like Jigsaw, but he knows that if he plays overly aggressively, finds a couple of kills, that's great. If he dies, you've still got Tuhan and Bappin and Kyra and Brendo to be able to find kills later in the round anyway.
So the blitz to be deployed here from Barbie Boys round 4. Bailey will be looking to create space off that and kill him, man. Well, he's looking to lurk over towards lobby, but Bappin has a read. Bappin finds the kill. Bappin continuing a really good run of form here this afternoon. He's looked so sharp.
Yeah.
He's been tested on so many occasions, but he just continues to win out these fights.
Well, it's a reason why he's on this roster and he joined that Enterprise roster. I think when he first came into the scene, he was probably not at his very best from the get-go. It's fair to say, as most players aren't. And I think over time, he's taken it more seriously. He's improved his game. He's clearly become one of the sharpest players in the region. His name is not out of place on this roster at all. As Walsh gets on the board, his first kill here on Bank. Bappin, great angle, though, onto the unsuspecting Bailey. The blitz will go down. Great advantage again acquired for Enterprise. Bappin close towards Tellers. Feels like he's getting pressured from multiple angles because he indeed is. Good swing from Prez. They had one main stairs, one pushing close, and Prez slipped in through archives as well. Jigsaw gets involved. He's 6-1. Brendo gets rid of Prez. The trades were quick. Enterprise not allowing Barbie Boys to take any semblance of space. As soon as Barbie Boys were able to push in, take a position like Talos, Enterprise just swarm around them. Walsh by himself, 1v3. A lonely figure for the Barbie Boys, as it's seemingly going to be 11 rounds straight.
"30 seconds then for Walls to try and mount another clutch attempt here for Barbie Boys. Continues for EP. 20 seconds on the clock, and unfortunately, I think he's fairly futile at this point.
Well, this is getting a little bit... is embarrassing the right word? It's probably not embarrassing if it's Enterprise, right? Like, surely that's the one team where you can throw the asterisks up and say, well, they're probably going to do this to almost every team in the region. It's a statement, though, from Enterprise. I mean, this is literally a huge statement, because as great as these players are, they came from the two best teams last year in terms of the large portion of the roster. Whenever you put great players together, it doesn't always translate to great team. And we've seen that within this region alone. And I think that if you wanted to have any kind of doubt, or not doubt, but maybe question marks, will it work? Is this roster going to fit? Is there too much firepower? They've just squashed all of that immediately. 11 rounds straight against, I think you and I put Barbie Boys third. Dev put them fourth. Like, they're a great team. They got a lot of experience outside of Walsh. And they're just making this look really, really easy.
Wall reinforced.
And the benefit for this team as well, Gus, that can't be understated, is we're in 2026 now, and so over the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years, OCE has actually been able to get a lot of representation internationally now under the belt for a lot of these guys. All 5 of these players have so much in international experience. So, and it may not be as this core 5 as this roster, but that's still something that a lot of other teams in the region can't say, because these 5 have been on the most dominating teams that always take the spots. I mean, you can see the right smart from Jigsaw as he just absolutely demolished Killer Man.
7-1. Yeah, given that license to aggress, as you were alluding to earlier. I think for EP from this point, it's really about, can they get the perfect 14-0? They drive this result home and set themselves up for a run through this upper bracket. Hard breach over towards top square for Barbie boys and a path now in towards site.
Changing mags.
Yeah, it's been a rough game for Guillemette. Oh, Tuhan getting burned alive as Prez finds the kill. That keeps the round alive now for Barbie boys. And not much working for them. And they know full well in the back of their minds that this series is pretty much done, but you've just got to try and find a way to believe as Weatherpools continues his strong form on Bank. Gets through to Cairo. They've got the advantage, but these rounds, they were the ones that they still were dropping on Chalet. Bap, and what a swing. Walsh wasn't ready. Welcome to the big leagues. It's not quite ranked. But Jigsaw goes down to Bailey. Keeps this advantage with Barbie boys. Heading into the final minute, it's Brendo and Bappen. Two new teammates.
Brendo does have the line here. Long line of sight, DMR in hand. He can do a lot of damage from this position.
Oh, Brez goes down immediately, even with the RU. Doesn't stop the bullets. The Razor Bloom to finish him off. And Bappen holding towards the hallway means they've got to just try and force Barbie boys into sight. They've got them surrounded. Bailey goes down top square. Oh, Bappen and Brendo combined. Too easy. Outnumbered. It does not matter. 5 straight on Bank. 12 straight in the series. Enterprise 2 rounds away from looking towards that 14-0 Guz. Again, I don't know how often we get to see a 14-0.
Yeah, very rare. And especially, and again, in a matchup that at least on paper shouldn't really be quite this one-sided. I think a testament to EP and how strong that roster is, and maybe some of the teething issues for Barbie boys. And again, another position where Barbie boys in an okay spot, in fact, pretty advantageous there towards unable to convert that. Good fight from EP. Trying to charge towards the 14-0 here in this best of 3.
10 seconds to go.
Well, half-time's coming up very shortly, but full-time is then going to be directly after it. 7 for Brendo, 7 for Jigsaw, 6 for Bappen, Pyro's 3-1. Tuhan, the only one negative at the moment. I'm going to get the numbers for the overall series, but it's 14-6 for Jigsaw, 14-6 for Bappen, 3-0 on entry as well. 2-1 on entry for Jigsaw, 11-4 for Brendo, 10-3 for Cairo. He's been very, very good. And Tuhan 11-5, but 0-0 entry is lowering his overall EPS. All are 116 plus, 147, 143 for Jigsaw, Bappen, respectively. Bailey has been the best for Barbie boys at 8 and 12.
So another aggressive hold top floor here from EP. In defensive open area with the peel option as demonstrated by Tuhan. Castle brought in play once more, so quite a lot of utility to be contested here. Barbie boys last time out struggled to activate the Ram. Bailey got taken down by a Nitro. It was a follow-up after an earlier jump-out attempt top floor. So hopefully he is able to activate those Boogie Auto breaches as Wedables will charge forward over towards Jan. So better job this time out for Barbie boys in terms of taking some of this space and actually forcing the peel. As you can see, Brendo back towards first floor. And if you look at the player cards to the right-hand side of the screen, EP completely vacating second floor.
Well, we should get a late round scenario here. We haven't had one really on Bank so far. They got the top floor. The Boogie Auto bridges will go out now from Bailey. Open up towards long desk. Clear out positions like archives, tellers, force everyone back to site. Time's not an awful factor, but do need to pick up the pace. The thing with Siege, the clock is actually... Hang on. Oh, Jigsaw tried to get very aggressive. Tried to go for the counter punch while they were opening up the floorboards. Wedables shuts that down. They get the opening kill. Again, the clock and says you think, oh, we've got 50 seconds. No, you really don't. You've probably got 20, 30 seconds. You want to start these attacks on site. Oh, that's a lovely slip in from Killerman to catch out Tuhan. Thought he had good space towards Blue Stairs. This could be the round. This could break the streak. 2-player advantage. Again, though, still the timer factor. 35 seconds. Kara's got a good tucked in position towards quad. That's getting opened up. Oh, he's getting aggressive. Almost losing his life. Bappin, though, for the reaggress. The flank here could be detrimental to Barbie Boys.
Clean shot. Looks for the follow-up, but Walsh able to land.
He doesn't have to overextend.
No.
Yeah.
He can just relax a little bit. 10 seconds.
Good hold as well from Brendo on site. Then got pushed out, and it's done. Barbie Boys have won a round. They've done it. We can finish the series now. That's fine. They've got their round. I love the fact the guy who's smiling just lost that round. The guy who looks pissed just won the round. Well, the long frozen face of Prez says it all for Barbie Boys. They at least broke this streak of Enterprise, securing their first round win of the entire series. It's definitely a case of too little too late, unless they get on a big roll here on the defense of Bank. Credit, though, that they were able to get the win, because honestly it was looking like that 14-0 was going to be likely. And a big reason for it probably has been Weddable's play so far on Bank. 5 and 6, 2-0 actually on entry as well, guys. Highest cost and KPR. He's been their best. He's the only one 100 plus in EPS, and he was a big factor in this round as well that got them the win. But it's just better positioning, and they were taking more space, good reads as well, with two hunts hitting blue. Killerman goes on the flank. They were a little bit more active, pushing different directions. Certainly one of their better rounds, and well deserved to get the round win.
So straight down to a basement opening defense here from Barbie Boys in terms of a quick snapshot and how everything's shaped out so far. Weddable's currently the only player on the side of Barbie Boys with a positive EPS at 107. Unfortunately, though, across the entire roster, nobody positive in terms of the kill death department. EP on the flip side, Bappin 158, Brendo 148, Jigsaw 140. If you're able to walk away from a map and have a single player with numbers that high, it's normally quite impressive, but to have the majority of the roster 140 plus is very much a strong demonstration of just how well-rounded they've played so far today. The depth has been really quite enjoyable to watch. And then even Kara and Tuhan having impact as well. They certainly haven't been completely vacant either. We'll see the Blitz and the Dokkaebi combo for map clear this time out. And it looks like a pretty eager peel from Barbie Boys in response. Walsh just to hold elevator for the meantime.
A debut series for Walsh couldn't have been a more difficult task going up against the Enterprise guys. But we'll get a real good understanding of what it's going to take at Pro League and the difference between Pro League and Ranked and Scrims. You learn the most from your losses. You learn the most from these kind of games as long as you bring the right attitude. You gain a lot. Hence why teams like to scrim the best teams so that they can learn from them. Oh, that's just wonderful. Wonderful pressure onto Bailey. Killerman, though, really good response to hit the headshot onto Tuhan. And force them back to site, 4v4. That does mean by getting that kill onto Bailey, server control will be established for Enterprise pretty early into the round. So they can very much go for a default side hit. Start working on the utility. Someone like Cairo, though, is now incredibly susceptible to Prez. He's got 3 gas babes. One of those lands on the Cairo. He goes down immediately.
I wonder if that prompts some kind of pivot from Cairo. Maybe rotate the kit. Instead opt for a drop. I think, yeah, if he creeps in towards default, he's going to find himself in a world of hurt pretty quickly, provided Prez lands his utility appropriately. Even a stun from Wed and a shot to follow would be more than enough. And so it feels pretty volatile for EP at this point in time. Dokkaebi call rains out and the hack as well, feeding information to the attack. First plant attempt, Smoke goes out. Does Cairo fall? No, Cairo's still alive. What? Cairo's still alive, but does get forced off, stunned off. Good work.
Edibles.
Smoke eventually does, in fact, land, and it quickly flips to a 4v2.
Yeah, that was big from Wedibles on the Echo because the first gas babe from Prez didn't connect, and Cairo then would have been able to get that plant down before the second gas babe got to him. But on the Yokai, Wedibles was able to deny. He was just sitting back corner. You can see where the kit currently is. And this should be 2 rounds straight for Barbie Boys. There's only 15 seconds left. And it's not the kind of round where you can actually just go and kill everyone quickly. As great a fraggers as Jigsaw and Bappin are, that kit really does need to go down. You can just stay tucked in there. Don't need a challenge. Others can then come on in. Killerman got the one onto Bappin, who was looking to get the plant down. Round done. 2 in a row for Barbie Boys. Showing signs of life here on Beg. Much better.
Yeah, really good work early round to be able to get Cairo low on HP. That helped enable and facilitate a swift down of the planted there and put EP in a pretty difficult position. Had EP in an alternate universe been able to deal with the Echo, and the plant was in fact not denied because Prez missed the initial smokes, well, who knows how it would have played out. Still a potential retake, of course, but they did a good job from the position. And so a 2-5 scoreline keeps them in reach, but very much a long path forward.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Yeah, long path forward indeed, considering that well, if they are to win the series, they're going to have to win this map and then into border. 3 rounds down here. Enterprise are going to be a very difficult team to string multiple rounds together in a row. I think I said before, though, really for Barbie Boys, it's just all about 1 round at a time. Try and build some good faith, win a couple of rounds. You're already going to go back, look at the VOD, especially Chalet 7-0. Learn what kind of happened there, what you can do better there. Bank as well, 5-0 start, learn. But just to also be able to pick up a few round wins, put into practice probably what they've been talking about and communicating. We saw earlier in the cams a lot of talking from Barbie Boys, especially from the likes of Wedibles. And Bailey hops onto the clash. And you will get opportunities against this Enterprise roster. You know, they like to play aggressive early in rounds. Jigsaw's going to go deeper positions. He's going to go aggressive positions. He's going to look for runouts at times. He's going to play the windows. If you put the work in and you understand how he plays and what positions he likes to play, you can then kind of punish that. And then you can create a lot of 5v4 opportunities against Enterprise. But beating Jigsaw is easier said than done. He's, by the way, in archives already. The only one inside of the building for Enterprise.
Yeah, and you think about the vert potential that may have on offer as well here on the Deimos, impressing those above. The Clash as well may find themselves vulnerable depending on Bailey elects to post up. And so I love that initial early lurk here from EP. It's now looking to exploit that and actually capitalize upon that position. A couple of frag grenades are being deployed. As elsewhere, a pick found on Rappel from 2 Hunt. Down below, Jigsaw in the thick of it. 1 HP, 4 targets available, but can't really aggress. Yeah,
lovely from Walsh. Just went prone, repositioned in the middle of the doorway, and Jigsaw was not expecting it. Thought he would have backtracked back in towards site. A full flash on to Bailey on the Clash. Doesn't matter, shield up. Brendo found the kill on the Weatables. Find a second immediately then onto Prez. Bappin gets involved, and Enterprise suddenly are able to overwhelm Barbie Boys in the round. This will be their first attacking round on Bank secured, as they've now got match series point.
Oh, it has felt like a long time coming. EP finally able to reach that series point mark. A 6-2 lead here on Bank. As we slowly make our way towards what has felt inevitable for quite some time in this particular series. Look, not to take anything away from EP, there has been some positive signs from Barbie Boys. I've liked that Walsh in particular has been able to get more involved here on Bank. That's been great to see. Weatables as well, increased impact compared to map 1. And there have been, again, a couple of rounds that have been a little bit 50-50 that EP have eventually been able to dominate because of their raw skill and their experience in closing out rounds. Just that sharpness has been very difficult to overcome, even when Barbie Boys have been able to find advantage, which has been certainly not impossible. You look across that opening kill metric, for example, over the course of this map so far. It is in fact 5-3 in favor of EP. So not a massive gap. Unfortunately though, especially in the first half, rounds 2 and 3, we didn't see Barbie Boys convert those positions. Now you flip that, again, it links in pretty closely with the storyline of this map, and potentially even the series as a whole looking a lot closer if conversion was more precise from Barbie Boys.
I think the concern for me is you kind of look at the entry battles for Barbie Boys. It's Weatables 2-0, 2-6 for Killer Man, 2-2 for Bailey. Again, tough opponent, but I think for Barbie Boys, where they're going to find a lot of success is a player like Killer Man. There's emphasis on him. He's one of the top fraggers in the region. Certainly a very solid entry, but to go 2-6 today hasn't really helped the cause. It's left a little bit of work to be done then by his teammates. Walsh has certainly been more impactful here on Bank. Now 7-7 after losing the opening battle to Jigsaw. And now they're pushing towards site as Enterprise just want to get this one done and dusted. Complete overwhelm. Bailey, bullied by Cairo, can get the plant down towards default. Killerman above in square. Prez can't really do a whole lot. That got shot out anyway. And with the plant down into the post-plant scenario for Prez and Killerman, 2v4. Brendo finds the head of Killerman. Prez by himself in open area, and this one is done. 7-0, 7-2. Clean sweep beatdown from Enterprise to kickstart their campaign in the OCE kickoffs.
Well, we didn't quite get the 14-0, but to be fair, EP not. Mark, this new look roster looking deadly here in their first match of 2026. And the sky really does feel like a limit for this particular roster. If they continue this run of form and play this brand of Siege, it's so difficult to envision any team in the comp being able to knock them out of a major position.
Won 5 of the last 6 opening kills. Dominated absolutely dominated. There's not much more really to say. It's the first match at Kickoff, the first series, new look Enterprise, but it's the same old dominance. And not really a surprise when you consider the players that are on this roster. The concern for a team like BARBIE Boys and the rest of the OCE competition, though, is that with limited spots this year when it comes to international events in the Oceanic region, how are you going to get past these guys? That's demoralizing. You're just going to have to put the work in and find a way. But they've clearly put the work in the off-season. Credit to Mag as well, since joining the roster as the coach. Clearly, it's not just a run-and-gun team. They've got a semblance of identity about them in terms of their roles, their structure, the way that they want to play. They had a very, very good performance there against BARBIE Boys, and we get the benefit of actually speaking to Mag as well after the win, which went for a total of 1 hour and 12 minutes. Mag, for a best of 3, that's a speed run. You must be absolutely thrilled though with the first performance for Kickoff, the way that the boys played.
Boys, didn't really give us much of a fight at all, as obviously seen by the score. But no, really well done from the boys today, really showing what we've been trying to achieve in practice. So, yeah, no, really well done.
I guess that probably leads into my question, Mag, in terms of your influence on this roster so far. How much do you feel like you've been able to change up their play style? Is that evolving day to day? Shift, how's that shaping up?
Yeah, it's definitely an everyday process. At the moment, I'm sort of really trying to manage our sort of mentality and, interplayer personalities and whatnot. Obviously, there's a lot of strong egos and strong-minded people on the team, and we're working through it every day. But I'm honestly just really happy and lucky to have so much talent on one roster. The guys are really easy to work with. We've built a culture that is around, improving every day, here for the long haul. So, yeah, it's definitely a day-to-day thing.
You say day-to-day thing, though, but I think what this region really needs is that stability. And we've kind of had it at various times where teams have gone over internationally, taken 2-3 events to kind of get to a good level. And every time that happens, we see some kind of split, retirement or breakup or whatever. Team finally plateaus. What is that going to happen again with this roster? Are we going to actually see them be able to compete for years to come? Like, I know that's probably a lot to ask for early on, since it's kind of day one with this iteration, but is that something in mind for the future where it's like, hey, we want to build something? Can we do that over the next 2-3 years? Or is it just, as you said, day to day, one event at a time, etc.?
So definitely this is a long-term project. Even now when I'm looking at sort of the Australian scene's player pool, there's not much at all. And, it was always sort of the Chiefs versus EP, the two best teams in the region. Obviously in OCE it's hard to play because it is hard to get a decent salary here in OCE, which is why I think a lot of players end up stopping. But this is definitely a long-term project, and there is just absolutely no other person I could see on this roster for the long term, or for the short term, obviously.
Well, appreciate that, Mag. We'll let you go. I'm sure we'll get to chat with you many times throughout the year. Congrats on the win.
Hopefully. Thanks, mate.
Let's go on back to the schedule, as well. It's not going to be 5 p.m. start for Team Anios and Chiefs. We are about 2 hours early as Enterprise completely dismantled BARBIE Boys. But kind of what I guess I was getting at there, guys, is like, you think about like the old Chiefs. They, won how many? I think it was 3 or 4 kind of OCE events in a row. Went to international events, then that breaks off. Then we get the Bliss iteration, event, top 8 SI, and then break up, and then Gaming Gladiators, etc. It's like, I think what we probably want to see from this Enterprise roster is not just, okay, make the major here, make, kind of like this year, get to SI, that's going to be the 3rd or 4th event, and then everything's great. They have a top finish, and then it all breaks up again coming into next year. You need that long-term stability. And we know that for a reason, because the 5 players on that roster have got so much international experience. Do it together now as a core 5, and who knows, you could be the OCE Weibo.
Yeah, I mean, I think to put a bow on that particular match, EP look the best team in the region. They have probably objectively the 5 best players in the region as well. And so it's really only they themselves that can beat themselves. As May kind of alluded to in the interview, that a lot of it is about player management. And if they can keep that in check, then the Salt Lake City major looks very, very likely for them.
First step done for Enterprise. For us, though, short break. When we come back, Team Animals versus Chiefs.